A couple of my last Amazon videos talked about consumer fraud, everything from fake drivers to consumer refund tricks. It's basically the stuff that hits everyday people right at their door and directly into their wallet. But this one's different. This talks about business fraud. This isn't the type of scam that steals from Amazon shoppers. It bleeds from sellers, warehouses, and small brands that are just trying to do things the right way. And the scary part is it looks completely normal from the outside. From the outside, they look like business owners that have LLCs. They also have resale pages, Pallet brands, liquidation stores, Amazon FBA, and Amazon wholesale businesses. And that's exactly why this scam keeps falling through the cracks. Let me give you some context. Here's how it works. A bulk order comes in, a pallet ships out, and a return gets requested. And as the business owner, you think it's just the cost of doing business. Then, once the warehouse opens the pallet, something feels off. The product is a lot lighter than it should be, and when they take a look at the boxes, the product looks resold and there's a lot of product that's missing. And in that case, some items are swapped and some items are missing. This happens because the pallet barely passes. It has just enough weight and packaging just to pass through at a quick glance. And if you sell on Amazon, this is the reason that your stomach drops, because you realize you're not dealing with a random return. You're dealing with a system that was created over time and is still bleeding sellers. In this video, I'm breaking down the Amazon pallet scam that are targeting business owners, because this isn't the same standard as the consumer refund fraud. Bulk order abuse is showing up more and more across modern e-commerce, and most sellers don't realize it until it's costing them real money. Alright, let's dig in. But first, let me show you what a pallet scam is and why it's different. First, a pallet scam is when fraud happens at scale. So just like I mentioned earlier, it usually starts with someone who already looks legitimate. Here's the twist. They're not pretending to be a business. They're an official business on paper. They might be registered, they might sell online, and they might move real inventory sometimes. And that's what makes this dangerous. And instead of scamming one package, they target bulk orders, bulk returns, and wholesale style orders where volume becomes a cover-up. Here's the thing. When you steal one box, someone notices. But when you move an entire pallet, the loss hides inside the system. And that's the key difference. And they know that deep down. This is not the typical, "I never got my package" claim that customer service deals with every day. A single return dispute is frustrating because it costs a lot of time and energy. But when you're messing with a pallet dispute, that can easily replace an entire month worth of profit in one move. Return fraud has grown so large that estimates put fraudulent returns in the US at over $100 billion in 2024. That number in itself explains everything, because the incentive is enormous, and that's why scammers do it. And once the money gets that big, scammers stop thinking in packages and they start thinking in pallets. Now let's walk through how it works, step by step. Here's the play, and I want you to picture it like a mini operation. Step 1. The bulk order looks normal at first. A scammer places a large order that looks legitimate. Sometimes they use multiple accounts, and sometimes they rotate addresses. And sometimes it's just the new buyer profile that looks clean. Step 2, they create a return pathway before you even realize it. This is where it gets strategic. They're not always trying to keep everything. What they're doing is they're trying to set up a return event that benefits them. Step 3, the return that comes back is not the return that you think it is. A few common versions show up, and this is what they see. Partial refund fraud. They send back some items, not all, then claim the full shipment is being returned. Next is switch fraud. They'll swap real items with cheaper lookalikes, older versions, or even damaged product. Or if you get the really sophisticated ones, they'll give you a different product but with similar packaging. After is boxing stuff and weight games. They stuff and pad the pallet inside so that the weight passes the sniff test. And unless someone specifically is counting each individual unit or scanning the serial numbers, it can easily slip through the cracks. And lastly, non-receipt claims at scale. This is where they claim a pallet never arrived or arrived empty. And at this point, the fight becomes paperwork, not proof. And those are a few key examples of what the seller sees when they open up the packages. Now let's get back into the steps on how this scam works. Step 4, the refund clock becomes the weapon. Most sellers feel the pressure of time, policy, and customer service escalations. Scammers know that if they create enough friction to customer service, then they'll eventually just give them the refund and then move forward. And it's just like what I said in my consumer Amazon refund video about how Amazon is customer obsessed. And in this case, the sellers and the buyers are Amazon's customers. And then lastly, step number 5, the product gets flipped fast. Those stolen items aren't just sitting in someone's garage. They're about to make some money. To dust their hands off, they're often resold through online marketplaces, liquidation channels, or other resale pipelines. And that's exactly why it's so hard to unwind. This is not because sellers are careless, but it's because the scam is designed to move faster than your investigation. And real quick, if you're watching this and thinking, I sell on Amazon, or I've thought about selling online, or even, I really like your content, Josh, then that's the reason that this channel exists. We exist to break down the stuff that no one explains clearly so that you understand. Everything from the risk, to the blind spots, to the mechanics that are happening behind the scenes. If that's the kind of perspective that you value, you're in the right place. Appreciate your continued support. Let's keep going. The impact on sellers on Amazon. When consumers abuse refunds, the platform tightens the rules. And when criminals abuse bulk orders, the platform tightens rules even harder. And that ripple, it hits sellers in a few ways. First, the sellers eats the loss. The inventory's gone, the refund is processed, and then now you're paying for the return shipping fees. And for them, restocking costs them a lot of money, especially if they don't have a lot of cash on hand. Second, the seller's account can get hit. More returns, more disputes, more negative signals. Even when you did nothing wrong, your account still gets flagged. And at this point, they're considered a high-risk customer. And third, customers pay for it. Prices rise, policies get stricter, and everyday customers get treated like they're the issue. This is exactly why Amazon invests so heavily in detections, audits, and policy reinforcements. Because at this point, doing nothing gets very expensive at scale. The crazy part is, scammers get away with it sometimes, and here's how. They usually win in gray areas. They exploit loopholes where verification is weak. They manipulate shipping labels and tracking. They rotate identities and accounts. This right here tells you how big the Pallet narrative has gotten overall. And this brings me to my next point, how Amazon and law enforcement are fighting back. Amazon and major retailers are more aggressive because they have to. Here are the main ways systems are fighting back. Number 1, pattern detection. AI flags abnormal return rates, bulk anomalies, and account behavior that looks coordinated. Number 2, cross-checking and traceability. What they do is they keep track of serial numbers, weight checks, and warehouse audits. These internal scans is what tightens the loop. Number 3, account bans and blacklisting. It's just like with any other platform. If you play this game, you will get slapped on the wrist. The repeat offenders get removed, and then the network gets disrupted whenever enough connection points happen. And number 4, investigation and partnerships. Now let's wrap this up with tips for sellers and buyers. For sellers, here's what you should do. Number 1, build proof into your process. Photograph pallets before shipping and then record the serial numbers when possible. And keep all your shipment documentation cleaned and organized. Number 2, tighten high-risk SKUs. If a product is commonly swapped or resold easily, label it high risk. And when the product comes in, make sure you do extra verification. Number 3, audit returns like a banker audits their numbers. And number 4, watch for return engineering patterns. And this could come from unusual order sizes or old address patterns. For buyers, slow down. A lot of these offers either come from scams or sketchy inventory practices. The future of pallet and bulk order scams. This is not going away, my friend. It's evolving. And as verification tightens, scammers shift their tactics. They get more organized, more patient, and they get better at blending it into normal behavior. So the real advantage isn't paranoia, it's process. The sellers who build strong systems early are the ones who always survive. Business frauds hit sellers quickly and it scales fast. And once you treat it that way, you'll stop seeing it as bad luck and start seeing it as risk that you can manage and control. But as always, stay sharp, protect your business, and I'll see you in the next one.